Good morning, All Saints. Good morning. You could all sit down. Let's get to know each other a little bit. My name is Denis Makhlin. Yes, I'm that tall guy you see in Trouvers every Sunday. And I'm an incoming freshman of San Francisco State University, and I've been part of All Saints community for the last 3 years. I'd like to ask you some questions right now, and would like you to respond to them in your head. What are your plans for today after this? What about tomorrow? How about the plans you have already set for yourself in the future? Today's epistle read, "We look not at what can be seen, but what it cannot be seen. For what can be seen is temporary, but what cannot be seen is eternal." Society forces us into our own personal routine that we unknowingly get accustomed to. For me, these routines sometimes turn into a kind of fear. It's the type of fear that can quickly take control over your life without you ever noticing it. For me, it's the fear of change. Why is change so fearful, though? Most of us are lucky enough to live a pretty comfortable and regular life. Notice the word I use there, regular. It's the word that I never want to be, or at least that's what I think. What if I presented you with these two scenarios? The first, being able to continue living your life exactly how it has played out so far. And the other is being given an opportunity to choose a time in your life to start over and rewrite how your life will turn out. Which one will you choose? Are you happy where you are right now? Do you feel like you are doing enough? I think that most of us would jump at the opportunity to go back in time so that our future selves would be able to answer this question with the response, "I'm perfectly happy where I am right now." But how many times will you have to go back in time to ensure your happiness is secure in the future? How many moments would have to be changed? Maybe the deeper question is, what is your idea of happiness? If you really were given the opportunity to go back in time, would you really take the risk that you regret not taking? Would you restore a past relationship or a torn friendship? We are all probably thinking of a specific moment in our lives right now we wish we could either take back or act upon. Well, stop it. Unfortunately for all of us, Dr. Emmett Brown still hasn't completed the time machine that could send us all back to fulfill our quest of happiness. But don't worry, there's still good news. We are still here, living in the present, writing our own future ourselves. You're the only one that can fulfill your passions and goals. No one else can do it for you. Only you can do it yourself. Do it yourself. These 3 words have changed the way I look at everything now. And I can honestly say All Saints is what helped me to actually understand what these words mean. I've only been a part of this community for 3 years, and I think the best thing you have all offered me is trust. You all believe in our youth, while others don't, and it gave me the motivation, comfort, and confidence to go after what I think is beneficial to our society. This year, my idea of what I can get accomplished has changed due to these 3 words. I'm not going to start the cliche talk right now about how we as humans are more capable than we think. However, I do believe that we have the unique ability of trying and taking risks. No longer do I feel embarrassed or nervous when I want to do something that seems out of reach. Let me give you an example. I have a huge passion for discovering new music, going to see live bands, and even making my own music sometimes. A couple of years ago, the love for the scene sparked an idea in my head to host my own show. I've seen my sister do it a few times, so I thought I could easily do this. It was a cool thing to tell your friends, "Oh yeah, I'm probably going to plan a show soon." But it wasn't cool when every time I would actually sit down to start planning it, I would make excuses to avoid getting it done. That's the problem right there. We calm ourselves down with excuses, and they give us a reason for letting other things get in the way of accomplishing our goals. Yet, these reasons end up delaying the idea you had until you either completely don't want to do it anymore, or you move on to a better idea that you're probably going to leave unfinished as well. Well, senior year came, and I still had wanted to host this show. I sat down, and again, I came across the same excuse I had made up before, which was that no venue will want to host a show with someone who had never done before, and that, oh, I'll just wait when I'm a little older. And of course I thought, well, how did people who regularly host shows start when they had their first show at some point? But again, that was my fear of messing up coming back. Luckily, my mindset on all this changed after I engraved the idea of do it yourself in me. So I did. I just asked. It was that simple. Having a community like All Saints, where I learned so much about good ethics and political views, I knew which direction I wanted to take this in. I went on peerspace.com, which is a website where people let you rent out their spaces for a small price an hour, and contacted a few venues with an idea of throwing a benefit concert that would include local LA bands while also having artists be able to hang up their work on the walls. The show would benefit the Trevor Project, which is a nonprofit organization focused on suicide prevention efforts among lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and questioning youth. I then came to two of my youth leaders at All Saints and proposed the idea and see if we could get it funded. Without even realizing it, my idea was becoming a reality. I had booked a venue, and All Saints agreed to sponsor it. Next was booking all the bands. I want to say this was the fun part, but it definitely was not. I had to change my lineup 6 times due to bands canceling me every other day. But time passed, and my lineup wasn't changing anymore. This was when I realized the lineup was official, and the show was ready to be promoted. But as you guessed, there came a new fear. This is going to go completely wrong, and it will all be my fault. However, my excitement for the show and what it could potentially turn out to be overrode all the fear I had, and I began being anxious for something positive. Well, the show happened. We ended up raising over $800 for the Trevor Project, and I'm happy to say it was successful. To see that I had helped create a space where people could just be who they are and enjoy great music was one of the most beautiful experiences of my life. Adults are now telling me, well, I sure as hell didn't do or even think about doing something like that when I was 18. Well, this is where I want to stop you. I never want you to get stuck in the past. There are still things that I know you can risk or do in your life. Don't wait around. Seriously, just do it. That show could have been a regret in my life. It could have been one of those things that never came to be, especially if I had let the fear of change take charge. But it wasn't. And that's one thing I can scratch off my agenda if I ever do go back in time. I'm not afraid of messing up anymore, and you shouldn't be either. We shouldn't be living our life in a routine anymore. We should be trying new things and risks and not giving ourselves those cushions that we know are just there to make us feel comfortable and safe in our own current skin, no matter what age we are. And that is what I want to leave you all with today. Just do the thing you think is impossible, because soon enough, you will outgrow the fear of messing up and accept the new motto of just asking, or making a phone call, or just doing something that seems like a giant leap, and the scenario you will be choosing is, I am comfortable where I am right now. Don't plan out your whole life before your life is done planning out itself. As the epistle read, what can be seen is temporary, but what cannot be seen is eternal. The plans you make out are only temporary, but what you dream about has eternal possibilities. So why not make these dreams a reality by just doing it? You're the only one in control, and you can change anything you want, and nothing as stupid as age, fear, or change should stop you. So remember this simple phrase when you come across a situation where you know you can do something, but you convince yourself you can't. Do it yourself, because you will be surprised at not only what can be accomplished, but also at the community that will be right there with you with full support. Amen.